and be an it girl, but be an it girl for yourself. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a get ready with me. I was going to record a sit down video, but then I was like, why don't I kill two birds with one stone? And so it's going to be a get ready with me, talking about the it girl trend and how sometimes as a culture and as a people we can assimilate to subscribe to one thing. If you are interested, then continue watching. We're back again with a new video. It's been a while. Hey, I promise you I am not running away from YouTube again. I think that I just needed some time to just step back and reevaluate content. Even after stepping back, I still don't really know how I want to show up on this channel, so I think we're just going to be going on the ride together. I think that is the beauty of the journey, is not always having the answers and not always knowing what you want to do, but just doing it and just hoping that it will bless and inspire somebody. As you guys can see, I just popped a wig on. I'm a pixie girly, so I haven't betrayed my pixie, but my hair has been growing out so much and I haven't had time to get my hair done. My girl is busy, so I'm finally going to be able to cut my hair at the end of the month. So while I am waiting for that transition, I'm going to be wearing a U-part. I have been thinking a lot about desires and motivations and how we are easily influenced by society and how society has shaped the way we choose to do things. And usually when everyone is flocking to a certain type of opinion or perspective, it's an indicator that society is somewhat trying to assimilate us all into a certain category. And if we're not careful, I think sometimes we can fall into those pressures. And I'll give an example. The example that I was talking about is the aspect of like black girl luxury. And there's nothing wrong with saying that you like nice things and stuff like that, but I think a lot of times we will subscribe to something because everyone is doing it. So I noticed that a recent trend that a lot of people have been subscribing to is the it girl, that girl trend. We can all be that girl in our own individualism. I think the problem with that girl content sometimes is that it pushes a narrative. It pushes a narrative. This is a hot mess. This is why I don't do get ready with me's, because it's giving hot mess. It pushes a narrative that we all have to subscribe to a certain type of lifestyle to feel and be accepted. And it goes back to like when everyone is subscribing to a certain trend or ideology. I really believe I don't know who has created this, but it's a way of society pushing a narrative of how we should show up. I feel like that could be so problematic, and especially in a generation where, how do I say this? It's hard for us to think for ourselves and come up with our own ideas because there's so much information being put out there. Everyone has an opinion, everyone has a say now. And I don't think that's even a bad thing because I'm doing YouTube, right? But I think that it can be problematic when we are all trying to figure out ourselves and then we subscribe to like a certain type of narrative. The most hardest part of me getting back into makeup is my eyebrows. Like I just feel like I just struggle with it a lot. I am like trying this new method of underpainting, and so pray for me, y'all, because I did it for my birthday and I actually liked it, but now I'm like, should I have done this in this video? Because what if it doesn't turn out right? So we're just gonna pray that it actually does turn out right, and if not, then we're just gonna make it work. To what I was saying is, I feel like this aspect of like the it girl and you gotta look like this and you gotta dress like this subscribes to like the aspect of like following a certain formula. Like if you do it this way, then this is how your life is going to turn out. If you dress this way, this is how you're going to attract a certain type of person. I just feel like we all need to just learn how to think for ourselves. Because someone started their journey a certain way or did something a certain way, that is exactly how things are going to work out for us. Like, God has different paths set before us, and it can just be such an issue when we don't realize that our journeys are so much more different. How someone starts doesn't necessarily mean that that's exactly how your life is going to turn out. And all for like being your biggest advocate and celebrating yourself and loving yourself, because as somebody who struggled to fully love herself or fully see her self-worth, I can see how sometimes it's easier to have somebody that we aspire to be like or look up to. It actually makes me think about like idolization and how much we idolize like influencers and celebrities, and like we make them the template. Like, we live in a culture where we just idolize people. We have this expectation that people should be a certain way, and if they're this way, then you know our lives are going to be like this. If success looks like this, then this is how God is blessing them. And I just feel like the way God works in my journey, and I think a lot of times God will build your character before he hands anything that he knows you could potentially not be a good steward of. I think that's like the best way I can put it. So God will sometimes put us in situations where we have to have our characters built. We have to, you know, learn how to love ourselves. I went through a season where God was really showing me that like I cared too much about what people thought about me. I cared too much about how I showed up on the internet. I was so worried that like people would think I was cringe, or like I was doing too much, or I didn't feel like I could fully be myself and show my personality. Like, would people think I'm weird or like quirky? Because I am a little quirky. I have a little quirkiness to me, you know? And I think the Lord was showing me in that season, like, no, like I've created you to be this way, but you're afraid to show up because you don't look like this template. Or can I show up like this because this is what is popping right now? And I had to really learn that, like, truly who I am comes from fully accepting all that God has created me to be, even with my flaws. Side note, I'm using the Estee Lauder foundation, right? I thought I liked it. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I've only been using it for like a month now, and I thought the color was like a great match, but now I'm feeling like the color may be off, because I feel like every time I put it on, I kind of look ghostly, if that makes sense. I don't know. And I don't even think it's wrong to have like favorite content creators, because I do have content creators that I really, really like. Like, I like their style, or I like what they say, like their encouraging words. But I just want us to all like kind of come from a place where we check our hearts, and we're like not like being motivated only by like what people show us or how they show up in society, you know? And so go on and be an it girl, but be an it girl for yourself. And think that ultimately, like, we've seen how celebrities disappoint us. It kind of leads me to like my next thought. Something that has been on my mind is the aspect that we should be motivated intrinsically. Like, I feel like intrinsic motivation, you know, really helps us just figure out what we love and do it from a place of like good motives, internal motives. And so I grew up in an African household, and I think that a lot of the pressures to be a certain way was really motivated by what my parents expected of me. And I don't think that that's a bad thing, but it has its flaws. I'm using the Fenty matchstick in Espresso. No. Okay, well, we tried it. Growing up in an African home, the motive of why we do stuff sometimes is because we don't want people to see us a certain way. Also, the battle of being compared to. Culturally, we can fall into the aspect of being motivated extrinsically, like from outside voices. Then we don't actually know what we really want. Do I want to do something because of what other people are going to see as success or deem praiseworthy, or do I actually want to do it because or a God-given conviction or pull to do it? Sometimes culturally that isn't something that is fully accepted, because culturally what's embedded is to assimilate and be motivated by what people think. Like, what are they going to think if you do it this way? What are people going to say if you live your life this way? And how are people going to perceive you? And you don't want to do something this way because then they're going to talk about it. Or be careful what you say because we don't want people to perceive us or perceive our family a certain way. And so I think that sometimes we can be the issue with society, and even just culturally speaking, from a culture perspective, is we're too motivated or too driven by outer external voices and what people want us to like achieve and look. And it even goes back to like, even in a broader context, like why a lot of our influences come from like pop culture, entertainment, celebrities. There is like a template that I don't really realize, but sometimes we are being pushed to subscribe to. If you want like a good drugstore setting powder, this one is a good one. Those are like my thoughts about like being motivated by society and like what society tells us how we should think. God has all created us individuals. He created us to, even when we think about like the way we speak and the way we show up, none of us sound the same. We like literally our voices all sound different. Like even if someone really sounds like you, they're not you. Like there'll be a distinction. But I say that to say, like, God is a God he's intentional, and he is intentional in the way that he wants us to even show up and how he's created us to be. I think even a question that you should be maybe even asking yourself, that I'm even challenging myself, is what do you like? It's actually my husband's birthday too. So I'm like, is it my birthday or is my husband's birthday? Because the way I'm going in with the makeup, I'm just doing like a simple eyeshadow. It's not anything deep, but I'm like, is it my birthday or my husband's birthday? Question to ask yourself is like, why am I being motivated to do this? Am I being motivated because the world is telling me to do it? Am I being motivated because I see a celebrity doing it? Am I being motivated because I'm being influenced to do it? And that's the point of being an influencer, is you influence people to buy things, you influence people to think a certain way. But I think that there's nothing wrong with being influenced to buy stuff, because I still will see something and be like, oh my God, I want to get this. But I'm also in a place where I'm like, do I want this because everyone is doing it? Or do I want it because I actually want it, or I actually want to experience this? You know what I mean? I feel like I'm looking a little ghostly, so I'm going to bring some warmth back into my face with this palette. I am going to bronze my face. So just bring warmth into my face a little bit more. Going back to that and just figuring that out, and just even like going to God too and being like, Lord, like, I want to know who you've created me to be. Like, I want to know like what your intention is for my life. See how there's more warmth coming into my face now? Period. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, so another thing that I actually want to say too is like when it comes to like style. So something that I am also discovering, I cut my hair recently, if you guys know that. I'm not naturally, I don't usually wear wigs. Like I will wear them if I have to, but I like my hair short, and I might change my mind, right? This is not, I don't know if like short hair is gonna be like the ultimate end all be all for me. Like I might change my mind, because like I'm growing, as I'm in my 30s now, and as we grow, we evolve and we change and we figure out things we like and we don't like, and that's the beauty of being human. And so, but something that I've been even thinking about like the past days or so is like doing things like finding my style. What do I like? I wouldn't say I'm a fashion girly. I definitely like to look nice, but I want to get into more of that. Like I want to get into like, sorry, I'm trying to focus. This is hard. I want to know my style more. I'm using Freebird perfect nude. I already put it on my list because I was recording a TikTok. I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone, but this is literally my favorite, like, go-to nude lip. It's just perfect. And I've already lined my lips with MAC Chestnut. Ooh. I'm trying to still find my style. I'm trying to see like what colors I like. I know before, like, I'll be like, oh, I want to subscribe to like liking bright colors and stuff like that, but I'm like, I thought about it and I'm like, I don't even like bright colors on me, to be honest. Bright colors look good on black women, but I'm like, do I actually like bright colors on me? You know, I bought an orange dress, right? Thought the orange dress was gonna look great on me, okay? I put it on and I hated it. Wore an orange before. Thought I liked orange on me, but then I wore it. I didn't like it. And so like even identifying like my style, the colors I like, the texture, like do I like texture? Do I like patterns? Do I like floral? Like I am in my 30s now and I'm like, there's a lot of things that I thought I liked in my 20s that I don't like now. And that's because I've changed as a person. Sometimes we can subscribe to something, like I said before, because everyone is saying that we should subscribe to it. So that's my piece. That is my thoughts on being the it girl in society, how we can sometimes be motivated externally by other influences. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is to be yourself. And I don't know what that looks like. And I know we hear this all the time, be yourself, be yourself, be yourself. But that may look like you stepping back, evaluating the things that you take in, you listen to, the people you surround yourself with, figuring out what you truly like, going back to the drawing board. Like me, I'm literally like, what is my style? Like, what do I like to dress like? How does something that I wear make me feel? What is my body type and what works for my body type? There's like a test on Pinterest that I came across the day that I actually want to do, and it talks about like how you dress for your body type. And so like those things have been really making me think about what I want to do and how I want to show up for myself and my 30s, but not only my 30s, but just overall, like being the fullness of who God has created me to be, who God wants me to show up as, and not really worrying about what others may expect me to be or how to show up. And that has been, it's been a roller coaster. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, it's so perfect. I know that every day I can choose to learn myself more. And so I hope that this video really just inspires you. A verse that I think about, which is like one of my favorite verses, and you've probably heard this before, and if you haven't, it's in Psalms 139, and it talks about we are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God. And I just feel like that verse really highlights individualism and uniqueness and God's intentionality for all of us to thrive, being a perfect reflection of Christ, and how God wants us to show up every single day. Because if he wanted us to all be the same, if he wanted us all to show up the same, he would have made us all look the same. He would have made us have the same features and voice and all of that stuff. And I talked about this in my other video, how I think it's so cool that we all have, even twins have individual fingerprints. It just goes to show the intentionality of God and how much he wants us to show up as ourselves, not being motivated by what others may think of us, how our parents think we should show up, what our friends think we should do, how we should even dress. Because a lot of times society does push this narrative that can be a burden, that can put us in a deficit, because a lot of people be doing things, crazy things, just to please people who don't even care about them, or please people who they don't even like or don't even like them. And so please, let's not idolize people. Let's not put people on a pedestal because they're human, but also let us not put ourselves at a deficit just to show up a certain way, or show up in a way that society wants us to show up. And so that is, I'm done. I hope that you guys like this look. It turned out pretty good. I like it. But I'm done. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I promise I am gonna be more consistent. I mean, I missed like 2 weeks, so last week was just a crazy week for me, but I promise that you are gonna get more content from me. Comment below, let me know what content you want to see, And let me know your thoughts about what I talked about today. I would love to have dialogue in the comments below. And like always, don't forget to shine your light while honoring the process. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. God, you call me by my name.